Howdy, this is Lemmy with Revzilla TV. As you can see, I'm on top of a 2015 Indian Scout. I've been dying to get on one of these since I first heard about them. 100 horsepower jammed into a small chassis sounds like more fun than a sack full of kittens. The question becomes though, can the Indian Scout live up to the formidable reputation of its predecessor? To find out, we're throwing this baby through a full Revzilla shakedown. We're going to show you what's awesome about the Scout, but also what needs to be improved. And because this is a Revzilla style review, we're also going to show you what modifications you're going to need to make if you're thinking about putting a Scout into your garage. Come on, let's go. The 2015 Indian Scout is a new entrant to the mid to heavyweight level cruiser market. It differentiates itself from some existing competitors in two major ways. First, and most notably, it's the other American cruiser. The second way the Scout stands out, it's got a big bike motor tucked into a very compact chassis. It's going to be perfect for riders who do short haul work and they want something that's nimble and agile, an athletic bike that's light on its feet. Now, couple that information up with the fact that the Indian Scout is easily the most affordable item in Indian's lineup, and it's not too hard to see what customer they're gunning for. They're looking for younger riders, returning riders, but riders who have enough experience to understand that there's some cachet in owning a premium brand like an Indian. Remember, Indian is America's oldest motorcycle manufacturer. Now, when it comes to competition, there's no shortage for the Scout. If you're looking at an Indian Scout, odds are that you're very familiar with the Harley-Davidson Sportster 48. The two bikes are very similar. Similar displacement, almost an identical MSRP, and you can see that fat front tire up front gives it a heavy dose of that American cruiser styling. Of course, both bikes are also made in America. Now, if the made in America thing isn't necessarily a hang-up for you, there are some metric cruisers out there that might also be to your liking. I'm thinking specifically of a Suzuki Boulevard, a Yamaha V-Star, or perhaps a Honda Stateline. They're going to offer similar features for, again, right around that same price point. Now, when it came time to evaluate the Scout, we had to figure out who this bike was being made for. Pretty obviously, this is not for the guy who's going 3 states away, and it's not also for the person who's going to work in the morning. The Scout is a rider's bike. This is for someone who doesn't have a destination. They want to get out there and ride just for the sake of riding. Now, having said that, I spent plenty of miles on the Indian Scout, and in my time on the Scout, I really did fall in love with a bunch of stuff about this. There are so many positive qualities that the Scout has. Let's go for a ride, and I want to show you some of them in action. Now, when I got on the Indian Scout, I did the same thing I do with every bike that I don't own. Treated it like it wasn't mine. I got on this thing and I started romping on it, and man, the engine is a peach. This motor has got so much power, over 4,500 RPMs. You can just get right on it, and this thing gets right up to speed. It really is a quick bike. Now, the engine's also got some duality about it too. This thing's almost sleepy and docile under 4,500 RPMs. It won't get you into trouble unless that's what you want. Keep in mind, this is a very modern engine design. This thing's actually over square. It's got more bore than stroke. Couple it up with its 4-valve heads, and you know that this is a bike that's going to rev to the moon. It really does perform. It's pretty funny how fast you can get right up to speed on this puppy. It really does move. Now, this thing's not all brawn. There's some beauty with this too. Check out some of the treatments they've given the engine. This thing looks absolutely beautiful. You can see all these cast-in ribs into the jugs. I also like some of the surface treatments. You're going to notice recut areas here in some of the fins. And then they also have chrome over some of the rough cast areas, as well as some polished chrome areas too. This is a very handsome engine. It looks very stately. Now, one of the other things that's cool about the engine is it's also part of one of my other favorite parts of this bike. It's part of the chassis. If you look underneath here, you'll notice that there's absolutely no frame rail underneath the engine. That's because the engine is a stressed member. Not only is it propelling the bike, but it's also helping to stiffen up the chassis. Now, it's pretty evident that the Indian designers who are working on the front end were also talking to the frame guys. Check out this wide tire on here. That's going to be part and parcel with a bike like the Indian Scout. Something that's harkening back to that American cruiser. It's going to give that classic look. Needs a tire that's kind of wide. So to work around the fact that a wide tire sometimes doesn't handle that well, the Indian designers did a great job. They really steepened up the rake angle relative to a regular cruiser. This has got a 29-degree rake angle. Typically, you're going to see bikes in this market in the 30 to 32 range. So by quickening up that steering a little bit, they maintain